ladies and gentlemen, to Fan Appreciation Month here on Reaction and Review. Tonight, guys, I'm checking out a film from 1992. That movie is Candyman. Now, I would love to tell you guys that I know anything about this film or any of its subsequent sequels, but I don't. I really, genuinely do not. I have no earthly clue what the hell this film is about. I just read the back, and across 2 paragraphs, the only thing I could figure out was there are two children's horror, stories that immediately sprang to mind. The first one is about the hook-handed psycho who stalks people in the woods. The other one is about Bloody Mary, the ghost who haunts you and gets you if you say your name in the mirror X number of times. Imagine taking those 2 concepts, merging them, and turning it into a serial killer, and you have Candyman. Sounds kind of stupid to me. But hey, who knows? This thing actually could take that concept and do something really great with it. I have no idea. It also apparently has something to do with someone looking into the legend of this serial killer, and upon doing the digging, the killings restart, meaning that the spirit of the Candyman is back, or some such stupid shit. Again, I have no idea if this movie's going to be any good at all, guys. The only way I'm going to find out is if I shut up and I push play, and I'm going to do that right now. So, without further ado, it's time to kick back, relax, and check out Candyman. You know, guys, what would make this movie a hell of a lot better? Would be if we had a better soundtrack. This movie's score, according to the opening credits, is done by Philip fucking Glass. And it shows. This is awful. This fucking music barely qualifies as music. It's more noise than it is anything else, and it's pulling away from a film that so far is rather fascinating. So, if this Candyman legend is anything to go by, not only is he a hook-handed serial killer who knows when you say his name in a fucking mirror, he also at one point cut the dick off of a retarded child and left it floating in a public toilet. And that was an awful lot of blood for just one person to be injured. That whole scene, guys, was kind of stupid. It's actually kind of lessening the awesome interest thing I'm getting off of Candyman, but hopefully the movie will sort of bounce back from this. Guys, I really wish I could get into this story more, but I think I found a problem with this movie. The pacing. Pacing in this movie is just a little bit wonky, and when I say that, what I mean is that there are moments, there are like long runs of this movie where everything's going great, and then something happens, everything comes to an absolute dead stop, and it slowly ruins the overall impact of the film. The past about 5 minutes is one of those instances. Everything has come to a dead stop, and the movie is slowly becoming dull. I really want them to get the story rolling. I want them to get the story rolling again. Oh, and that's our 4th jump scare in this film? God damn, guys, what the hell is up with all of the jump scares? Mind you, none of them have been any good. And on top of the questionable pacing, it's really taking a fascinating movie and just making it kind of shit. Okay, I have a question. This is a real stupid question. I know it has nothing to do with the film itself. Is there a reason why, when she was locked up in the nut house, Trevor and the student he's fucking decided they wanted to paint the apartment a nasty shade of pink I haven't seen outside of a bottle of Pepto-Bismol? Who the fuck would want to live in an apartment that's that disgusting shade of pink? I'm looking at it, guys, I'm thinking, there's no way any human being would ever want to live there. That looks absolutely hideous. It's really sad, guys, when I have to comment on the paint scheme because this movie's not giving me anything else to fucking think about. Well, that ending was certainly stupid as fuck. Well, guys, that was Candyman. Let's shut that off. Jesus Christ. Okay. God, where the hell to even... Alright, let's talk about the writing. Why not? I'd like to say that I can see, I can see buried deep within this film is an amazing story, a very fascinating tale that wants to be told, that wants to get itself out there and be seen. Unfortunately, there's something stopping it. There's something. I don't know if it was the writing or the direction or something is going out of its way to ruin this film. All right, let me just try to explain. There are quite a few times in this movie where it tries to pretend that it's a psychological horror film. It's some kind of a psychological thing. There are numerous times in the film where it seems to hint that Helen is the Candyman. Candyman is not some ghost or some spirit that's out to get people, but it's some kind of like a mental fuck up in Helen's head. And Candyman is basically a psychotic manifestation inside her brain. That sounds awesome. All right, I've seen tons of movies which have tried to do that, and they've done it great. This movie is not one of those films. The reason why is because every time that they do one of those scenes, and it's a nice lengthy scene where you don't know if Helen is just certifiably nuts, and that Candyman is just some kind of a split personality that's now living within her and is killing when she's, I guess, psychologically away. Or you don't know if that's the case, or if Candyman is an actual vengeful spirit who's been killing people for years. You have no earthly clue. But you see, I liked that. I kind of liked those scenes because they sort of built this, because they kind of built this mystery, and it was sort of fucking with your head a little bit. And then they would do something. They would do a scene that basically goes, no, that totally is not it. Candyman is totally just a vengeful spirit. All of that ties into the fucking baby. There is this baby that goes missing about halfway through the film, which happens to be the moment when they really start playing up that Helen may very well be going nuts, and Candyman is some kind of a secondary personality within her. So why exactly does this missing baby ruin it? Because when they do one of those scenes, you'll then see the baby alive and well in Candyman's lair. At one point, you even see Candyman caring for the baby. And that basically is the film's way of going, no, it totally is not a psychological thing. Candyman is totally real. And then they go right back to Helen, and they continue to play up the fact that Helen and Candyman may very well be the very same thing. And then they go right back to Candyman's fucking lair again, and he's caring for that goddamn baby, and it shows you that all of that fucking build-up, everything which they've been playing up to, is nothing. And it makes this whole movie a waste. You either commit to the fact that he may or may not be a real thing in this world, or you don't. But you cannot ping-pong between the two. You're going to lose the viewer, well, at least you're going to lose this viewer's interest, because if you don't fucking care exactly which way it goes, why the fuck should I? Alright, I would have loved it if they didn't show anything with the fucking kid until the final act, where you find out that the kid is, well, you find out, at least in Helen's mind, that this kid is very much alive, and you don't know if that's part of her mental fuck-up either. But the fact that they continue to put in bits of the kid alive and well in Candyman's lair is what totally fucks this movie over. Because it takes any and all of the psychological edge which this movie was building up to, and it completely kneecaps it, and it makes half the scenes in this movie absolutely worthless. I'm going to tell you guys right now, I really wanted to like this. I did. I totally did. And when I saw that they were building up to potentially a psychological thriller, psychological horror kind of thing, oh my god, I was totally fucking psyched. And then they kept going, no, it seriously is not a psychological thing, no, fuck that, it actually is just a straight up, slasher film, it's a straight up paranormal slasher film. And again, after doing that, they then go back to, well, but what if? No, god damn it. That is what killed this, is the movie could not make up its fucking mind if it wanted to be just a paranormal slasher film, a la Nightmare on Elm Street or something along those lines, or if it wants to be a psychological horror film. It doesn't know. And because it's so schizo, it ruins the film. And on top of that, we then have the pacing problems, man, where there are scenes that will go on forever, and they do nothing. They build in no way onto the story, or they build very, very little. You will have scenes that will go on for 3-4 minutes. You could have totally done in 1, maybe 2 minutes, and you would have told the exact same amount of story, and you would have fixed the pacing monumentally. This thing, guys, has some of the sketchiest writing I have ever seen, which is nothing short of tragic, because this is based on a Clive Barker short story. If there's anybody out there who knows how to write horror and know how to do it really fucking well, it's Clive Barker. When you fuck up a Clive Barker story this badly, man, that feels awful. And I have a feeling that Clive Barker's story, I'm going to have to give it a read, because I'm curious which way Barker was writing it. I really want to know if Clive Barker wrote it as more of a psychological thing or more of a slasher piece. I would like to know. I'm going to have to look up. I'm going to have to look up the story afterwards. Anyway, guys, the writing here, is such a huge letdown, man. Because, guys, as skeptical as I was about the whole premise, about the whole hook-handed mirror thing that Candyman was, as I stated at the start of the video, when they finally started talking about it, I was genuinely gripped. I was willing to go on the story that this thing wanted to tell. I was willing to go right along with it. And then the movie just didn't know what to fucking do. The writing devastates this movie. The writing could have, and by all rights should have been better, and because it wasn't, the whole thing is a huge letdown. Now, while I could go on about the writing, and god damn it, I really do want to go on about the writing, but I got other shit I gotta cover here. The acting in this movie is really, really solid. I am gonna give credit where credit is due. Tony Todd is fucking stellar as Candyman. He is. Alright? Tony Todd is amazing as Candyman. I absolutely loved him in this movie. I kind of wish that he was in the movie a little bit more. I kind of wish that they were able to do a little bit more with him. Unfortunately, he doesn't really get a whole lot of screen time. But still, what is in here with him is amazing. Whoa, I almost dropped the case. Now, not only is Tony Todd's performance great, but almost the entire cast turns in a fantastic show. There's one actor, and it's the kid. I'm not talking about the baby that ruins the tone of the film. I'm talking about this kid. Helen is talking to this one kid about the fucking Candyman myth. It's this kid who tells her about the kid who got his dick chopped off in the fucking bathroom. That kid, about half of his lines are done really, really well, and the kid knows what he's doing. But it's when they ask him to dub in lines. It's when he has to go in and he has to do ADR. That's when this thing falls to pieces. Because this kid doesn't know how to lip sync to what he said before. Or the way that he does it in the fucking booth doesn't match how he said it in the scene. And I'm not just talking about matching his mouth. I'm also talking about matching exactly how he sounded. So you will hear bits where he almost sounds bored, but in the actual shot, he looks anything but. And because they apparently didn't want to have this kid do multiple takes on those, or apparently his best was just that terrible when he had to go into the booth, it kind of sort of renders a couple of his scenes a little bit shit. So I do have to mention that. However, beyond that, the acting's awesome. Special effects. I will say, special effects in this movie are really fucking cool. I really liked the blood. I liked the gore. I liked everything involving the bees. Everything in this movie, in terms of special effects, was done very, very well. I cannot think of a single special effect that faltered or failed. Everything here was done great. It was done masterfully. I just wish that the writing had that kind of care and attention put into it. I'm just going to say that. Now, music. Commented on the music earlier. The score for this film was done by Philip Glass. Philip Glass apparently knows how to do very little musically. For this movie, he does two things. He has one really shitty piano piece that loops after 10 seconds. Everything else is shitty, ominous-sounding chanting that would be more fitting in a fucking Omen film than in one of these. And it doesn't sound good. It seriously, guys, isn't even decent fucking, it isn't even decent chanting and all that. Why? Because it just sounds like boring droning. It's just basically a bunch of people, and there is absolutely no flow to it. There's no rhythm to it. It just sounds like noise, and it ruins the film. I'm very happy that the people who made this did not use a lot of Glass's music, and a whole lot of this thing is run with absolutely no fucking score at all. However, in the shots or in the scenes, in the bits where we do have to listen to Philip fucking Glass's pathetic, terrible attempt at music, it does sort of bring the film down. And I was willing to look past the god-awful score. I really was. I was willing to look past that. And then, as I've already stated, the writing then came in and kind of sort of finished it off. Guys, well, wait, I guess I can also say, camera work here is solid, our lighting here is really good, our sound mix is great, as long as you're not asking that one kid to fucking go and dub in his lines, because that was just absolutely tragic. So this film, technically, on a fucking technical level, is great. It is. It is fucking masterful. And our fucking special effects are great. It's just our writing and our score are so terrible. Well, no. Our score is terrible. Our writing is a massive fucking letdown. And that is what really sucks about this. So guys, when all is said and done, am I able to recommend Candyman? If you can see it, if you see it on TV, by all means. If you find it really cheap on DVD, go for it. Really cheap, I'm talking like $5. Because what is here is still at least serviceable. It's just, because the movie doesn't know what the fuck it wants to be. It doesn't know if it wants to be a slasher film. It doesn't know if, or rather more of like a paranormal slasher film. It doesn't know if it wants to be that. It doesn't know if it wants to be a psychological thriller. It doesn't know what the fuck it wants to be. Because it can't pick a fucking genre and stick to it, it makes it very difficult for me to fully recommend it. I'm probably not even going to hang on to this, Blu-ray, because I just don't see myself watching it a second time, which is awful. Because I really did want to like this thing, guys. I had moderate hopes going in, because so many people had told me. So many people have told me that Candyman is this fantastic horror film. I apparently watched the wrong Candyman. This thing is a huge letdown, man, and that is really the worst part. Is this thing is such a colossal letdown. But hey, you know what? I honestly was really curious, and I finally got to watch it, and I am happy about that. Now, because it is Fan Appreciation Month, Candyman came off the Amazon wish list. The person who sent it in was Mage. You can find her YouTube channel at youtube.com/user/MadamCrystal. Mage, I thank you. I was always curious about this. I've heard so many people talk it up. I've heard so many people say that it is a criminally underrated horror film. I wanted to love this thing so much, and I would not have had any clue if this thing was any good if you hadn't have sent it in, and for that I thank you. You're fucking awesome. Once more, folks, it is youtube.com/user/MadamCrystal. Now, I kind of feel like watching some more stuff from the mind of Clive Barker, and you know what? I've got all 9 Hellraiser films on DVD. I'm going to go grab a few of those. I'm going to go and watch them, and I'm going to pretend I never heard of Candyman. So, with that, guys, we come to the close of another reaction and review. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, take care, and I will see you all in the near future. Bass.